Hi everyone, Jason here, Local Tech Experts with another build for you. This one's going to be a little bit different. I know I say that often, but in this case it's true. So for the part breakdown, I have just finished test benching all of this. It's a i7-7700K, 256 gig NVMe on there. This graphics card here is a RTX 2080. It's the Duke one. It's a 3-fan. Nice card there. 800 watt power supply. But the parts here are not really the main part of this build. This is a sleeper build, so I haven't done one of these before, but it's been waiting for 3 months, 4 months maybe. I'll take the parts down and put them to the side here. So I picked this case up, like I said, a few months ago with the idea to build a machine into it. I'll put the camera in a different spot and break it down a little bit more, but these beige cases came out in sort of the early to mid 90s, I guess. Anyone that grew up with a PC in that time would be very familiar with this color and style of PC case. Sort of around the first x86 builds, the old Pentiums and things like that. So Bill Gates days. This is sort of the machine that I grew up with. It's going to be fun to get back into building into one of these. So I'll break it down and show you what I plan to do with this, because with these, even though parts are standardized, even from back then, there's still a bit of a thought process that needs to go into it. So I'll break it down and show you what I plan to do. Alright, thanks guys. Alright, so what are we dealing with here with these old machines? I'll take the side panels off. They're just, nothing much has changed in terms of side panels. There's 2 thumb screws on the back on either side. So things are pretty much exactly the same as they are these days with cases. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Not much to look at in here. So this one also has a sliding top part that comes off as well. The steel is very thick. These old cases were made to last. So all the steel is probably a good 3 mil at the least, really, 2 or 3 mil. So the front panel here has a door. A lot of these old systems had doors in them. The nice thing about this one is it has a floppy drive, so I'm going to connect the power up to that, get a floppy drive, and I'll get the nice floppy drive reading sounds. If you don't know what they sound like, Google it and have a listen. It's quite good. The other good thing about this case in particular, this isn't always the case with all of these, but it has a removable build section, so it actually just slides all the way out, so I'm going to be able to build onto there and slide it back in when I'm done. You may have noticed in the parts I had an air cooler on the CPU. I'm actually going to swap that out with a all-in-one. So a couple of considerations in these old cases is they weren't really thinking about cooling when they were designing these. There's not even a exhaust, and I think there was one intake in the front, which is not enough for more recent systems. So the other thing is the power supply fits in the back here with the fan drawing from the top, but obviously it's all encased in the top, so there's no airflow. So I drilled a bunch of holes in the back here so I can get some airflow. when I put the all-in-one cooler in, I'm going to have it exhausting out the top. I'm going to have to cut a hole in the top section. So this top section here, I'm going to have to cut a hole in the top for the exhaust for the all-in-one, which is going to be pushing air out the top there. I don't want to modify it too much. I want it to continue to have much of the aesthetic of the old 90s machines as I can, but you have to consider the airflow of these things. So you might notice it's sitting directly on the table here. These are the feet. So it has feet, but they're tiny, so they just slot on like that. I have already started cutting and grinding this one, so I've cut some holes in the bottom for air intake. I'm going to have two 120s down there, but these feet are way too small to allow any clearance. So what I did is I went down to Bunnings, local hardware store, and picked up some PVC ends and just hot glued them to the bottom, so now it's going to have at least a bit of clearance. So it's going to sit on 4 of those. Hopefully that's enough clearance for a bit of air intake from the bottom. That's sort of what the plan is. I've still got a bit more cutting and grinding to do. To fit that all-in-one in the top, I'm going to have to get rid of this cross brace here to get it to sit up in there. I hope that doesn't screw with the stability of it too much, but I'm hoping that top section sort of braces it together a bit more. In terms of accessories in the front, obviously when these machines came out, there was no USB 3, so so I'm gonna chuck a USB 3 header in there, USB 3 slot, so just 2 USB 3s going to go in there. That's one thing. The other thing is I had one of these LCD screens left over, so I'm going to actually mount that in there, and that's going to give temperatures and things like that. So that should be quite surprising when you open this front up. You're going to have some more modern components staring at you. But I'm not sure if I should start building this now. This is going to be sort of a 2-part or maybe even 3-part video series. But it's getting there. It should be complete fairly soon. I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 weeks I'll get this one done. It looks like someone's already sort of started to modify it a little bit, but I've sort of eyeball fit a few of the parts, and it looks like it's going to come together. So keep an eye out for this one, and thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.